So please, Michele Viana will give the first presentation about the symptomatology of the aura.
Thank you, Professor Olesen. Thank you all to be here with me to hear this very interesting topic, migraine aura. So I have no disclosures. I am Michele Viana. I'm a medical doctor, neurologist, and a PhD in neuroscience. I'm collaborating. I have an ongoing collaboration with King's College London. So we will talk about the visual aura table. Maybe some of you have already known it. It's on the IHS website. What we will see about that? First, the word before the visual aura table. Second, how we develop it. Third, when to use it and how to use it in the fourth point. So let's start from the background. A detailed phenotypic description of migraine aura is of utmost importance both for everyday clinical practice, for the differential diagnosis with epilepsy, with stroke and other diseases. For the research, clinical but also basic research, we will see. And about migraine aura, it can be sensory in just 1/3 of cases. That is quite simple. We don't have a lot of problems. It's just paresthesias or numbness. For dysphasic symptoms, even less frequent, 10% of auras, expressive or compressive aphasia. Whereas the visual symptoms are the most common ones, 99% all auras, and overall visual symptoms are really heterogeneous, are multifaceted, are polyhedric. Okay, just in my study with 72 patients with recording 3 auras, we had 67 different visual scenarios, a lot just for 72 patients. So this can be just a little example of how can be different the old scenarios. Okay, so it was a great heterogenic scenario. So what we did before the visual aura table, there was not any standardization of visual symptoms, no images, but not even a text list of the visual disturbances. If you check in the classification so far, and I love the classification actually, but there was a missing point, the list of all visual disturbances that we can have. And moreover, even having a list talking about visual aura by verbally is challenging both for clinician and patient, and this has been already known for many years. See the reference from Alvarez. Then we used normally in the practical clinical practice, we used to describe verbally all the possible visual scenarios to the patient to check whether he or she had or not visual aura, but this was too long, too difficult, and there was no official list. So then we developed a visual aura table. But how? First of all, defining elementary visual symptoms. Here you can see a visual scenario, typical, but this is not one symptoms. Here you can see 2 different elementary visual symptoms. What are the basic visual symptoms that cannot be further subdivided? For example, you can have a zigzag line and together with bright light, okay? And after having defined what are the elementary visual symptoms, we performed a systematic review of all the studies, or investigated the clinical aspects of migraine aura, and here we have the list that was published. So there are 25 elementary visual symptoms. And then we created images because the list was not enough. And images was called standardized migraine aura iconography. Why standardized? Because all the images were on the same background to have it more clear what is the real disturbances with the same style. And this was the first some images of the first standardized migraine aura we created with the Danish headache centers, and we tested on more than 200 patients, okay? They completed a web survey where all the images were shown to them one by one, and the result was incredible. Almost all the patients, more than 200, recognized at least one of the visual symptoms via our images. And 80% of all the elementary visual symptoms that those patients have experienced in their lives, that were more than 1,600, were recognized via our images. So, but we also discovered one more visual symptoms that we show you, and we amended the first iconography using the feedback from the patients to developing a 2.0 version, which is one that you can find in the IHS website, and you can also download in A3 landscape or A4, and you can put on your desk, on the wall of your center, or even just download the PDF and show it to patients. And when to use it as a tool, as a screening tool. Okay, you just show the visual table to patients. You will see. But also very useful can be in the epidemiological studies, or for deep phenotyping, clinical studies, but also in the follow-up visit. This is the visual aura table. Let's see the disturbances. The first one that you can see in the top left is normal vision. Then we can have a flashing light, blurry vision, zigzag lines, a scotoma, multiple scotoma, phosphenes, white spots, colored dots, colored lines, geometrical figures, looking like fluid of waves, water or oil, tiny flickering dots, a C-shaped form, an extra edge around object, the corona effect, deformed images, fractured images, hemianopsia, like a negative film, macropsia, micropsia, mosaic vision, oscillopsia, sensation of movement of stationary object, tunnel vision, and anopia, a total blindness, hopefully it's rare, complex hallucination, also very rare, and the curtain phenomena, we call is the new one that one patient report to us. Then, how to use it? You just show the patient the table to the patient. One thing is important, explain that the visual symptoms have been represented in all the visual field. But this is just for an exploratory reason, a technical reason, although they typically, as you know, involve just a part of the visual field. And what do you have to do? If a patient recognizes at least one visual aura disturbances, verify the ICHD criteria, okay? Because this table is not pathognomonic. You know there are symptoms that can also be present in other conditions. Of course, main things are the duration. If somebody say, okay, it's something that lasts for 5 seconds, it's not an aura, it's obvious, okay? Or it lasts for months, it's very difficult. And also the progression is the visual field. Mainly these two things are very, very important, these two characteristics. And explain that some symptoms, and this there is not explained in the table, so please listen to me, especially the positive one can have additional different features, some modulation. Why? Because positive symptoms can be flickering, okay? And see you see in the top the list of positive symptoms, and look, They can be intermittent or flickering. Flickering is meaning like looking like the fast movement of the wings of a butterfly from 54 to 92%. So more than half of positive symptoms are intermittent and flickering. This has come out from our study. And another thing, we describe all the cold patients were asked to report all the colors of these positive symptoms and check that altogether, we have divided for every disturbances, but altogether it's about 50% of positive symptoms that are colored. And this also confirm a previous data from a Brazilian colleague that I guess is here. So I have almost finished because I want to say very few things but important. Also, the last thing, remember the intravariability. Okay, I've studied this phenomena in a couple of studies, also one prospectical. Visual symptoms can change from attack to another attack, not in all the patients. What was the frequency? 40%. So 40% of patients can have one attack with 1 and 2 visual disturbances, another with 1 and 6 visual disturbances. These are the number of the table. So this also is important. Please remember. In conclusion, for the first time, a tested set of images representing the visual aura spectrum, phenotypes, is available, and you can have it. It can be used to describe and recognize migraine aura both in clinical and in the research setting. I'm very honored because the IHS wanted to acknowledge the importance of this tool and that should be used clinical in clinical and research setting, and to have a benefit for patient and healthcare professionals around the whole world. Also, images are international, okay? And let me just tell you that in the last issue of Cephalalgia, it was just printed out this review where we just not describe all the spectrum of the quality of visual symptoms, but the quality of all the symptoms, and also other features like temporal aspects and other features. And also we create a diary, a pragmatic tool that you can use during your studies, clinical studies in aura, or even in the clinical, everyday clinical practice. So let me thank all the colleagues that helped me to give me the possibility to be here and bring these very interesting results, and most importantly, to have created such important tool that you all over can use in your daily activity or in the research. Again, I want to also thank the International Headache Classification. Here you can have the QR code to go directly to the aura table, and thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? No?
Wait.
Can you?
Okay,
No, yes.
Okay. Now it works. Okay, thank you. Thank
At
you.
the end.
Thank you very much. It's a very, very important contribution to describe this fascinating phenomenon, the aura. Unfortunately, we cannot take direct questions, but we'll do it at the end.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and thank you for keeping the time, Michele. Thank you very much.